For Jason Martin and Josh Mickelmore, you can put champions of the Truck Series if you want, because they both won Truck Series this season. Oh, all good. Typical. They're looking good tonight. Mark outlets coming. That's a shame. Bugger. That is annoying. Of course. You've got car audio on. There you go. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the ANZCAR Abruzzi Cup All-Star Race here on the JP Simshed Broadcasting Network. I hope you're doing well tonight. This is a very different event. Joining me up here in the booth tonight, as always, is Mr. JP. How you going, JP?
Carl, I'm doing really well. Looking forward to this race, as usual. Fitting into the season. Edward Foster was able to close out the season as is the 2020 ANZCAR Abruzzi Cup Series champion. These guys are here for a bit of fun tonight and some, as always, hard racing.
Absolutely, and we've got an open qualifying session tonight, so it's very different as in all the cars out on the track at the same time. This can be a really difficult one to qualify on, especially here at Nashville Fairgrounds. A very, very short track here. It's going to be a very tricky one tonight as well. It's only about 0.96 kilometre, so not very long indeed. We're going to be doing 200 laps tonight, and we have a tyre limit of 4 sets of tyres. Sorry, it's 3 sets of tyres. Oh, as we see, a big crash there between JCW, actually, just Jason Harkin, I think, as they were doing their qualifying laps there. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one out there tonight. This is a very different circuit, a very short track, especially for these cup cars.
Yeah, 100%, and as you can see, they're already starting to come to grief, and they're all over the place. So this is going to be some really interesting qualifying, and like you said, it's going to be a fairly difficult time of it with all the cars on track on this short track as well.
Yeah, it's going to be very chaotic out there tonight. At the moment, Danny G is up there in first place, taking that pole position with Joshua Carroll-Walden behind him, Hamish Gallagher in third. Does make qualifying much more exciting, of course, having a live track like this, because it makes things very difficult for some drivers, because you have to really work hard out there to find a clean bit of space, and on a track this short, that's nigh impossible.
Yeah, it's going to be. It is definitely going to be hard work for them. But as always, the cream runs to the top, and I guess we've got all of the cream in this session because everybody that's in here has won a race along the way in the either the ANZCAR Abruzzi Cup or in the Xfinity or Truck Series.
Yeah, that's it. We've got a lot of champions, winners, and also the top 10 finishers of the Cups, so top 11, I should say, of the Cup Series. Of course, everybody in the chase gets qualified into the All-Star race. Of course, we have champions out there. We have Jason Martin with 2 championships in the Truck Series this year. His teammate Josh Mickelmore taking out the final race, final championship in the Truck Series. Of course, Edward Foster getting the championships for the Grand National Series and of course the Cup Series, and then the Xfinity, which I'm trying to remember where that was. Where is it on my list? Somewhere.
I think that was Jason Hardigan, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Jason Hardigan. I think I've got that one. Yes, so yeah, champions out there. We've got many champions out there tonight, and it really makes a difference.
I guess the only dark horse we're going to have is Lachlan Urquio, who won the qualifying race to race in this race tonight. So I think he's going to be trying pretty hard, prove a point amongst this field of champions.
Yeah, he a very, very small field, unfortunately, in the qualifying race. So he did get through, and he did win, of course, which is the important bit. And that's the thing that's got him into the race tonight, and he's had a good season as well. He had a very good rookie season. Of course, getting used to driving these cars on oval circuits, very different for him. We've also got Aaron Kelly out tonight, who is not so used to these cup cars, I imagine, but he could be a bit of a dark horse because he's going to be quite good on slippery surfaces, of course. He took out a win at Eldora Dirt Track in the Truck Series, which was one chaotic race.
Well, if chaos is anything to go by, this race should throw up quite a bit of it. As you can see, a lot of these guys have been coming to grief, coming through that high banking there, or coming out of that high banking there. So expect to see maybe a little bit of chaos.
Yes, you're going to see a bit of chaos out there tonight for sure. As the checkered flag comes out, looks like Danny G is going to be sitting on pole position with Joshua Carroll-Walden behind him. So as they all finalise their qualifying laps, we'll run through the starting grid. So on the first row, we got Danny G and Joshua Carroll-Walden. On the second row, Hamish Gallagher and Lachlan Urquio. Third row, Stephen Williams and Josh Mickelmore. Fourth is Jason Martin with Edward Foster. Fifth is Norman Clark with Matt Hunter. Aaron Kelly and Jason Hardigan are on the back row. So not a great session for Jason Hardigan, not managing to get a good lap out there, unfortunately. A little bit of a struggle for him in that qualifying session. But it will be an interesting one to see how they go. Jason Hardigan can be quite quick on these short tracks. He proved that in the Grand National Series, as well as the little Wednesday night fun races we have. But another one to keep an eye out on is Matt Hunter as well. Of course, he got a win this season in the short tracks in the super late models, so he can be a bit of a dark horse in this race as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think Jason Hardigan's going to try and burn for the Stern tonight and see what he can do. Getting through this field, Danny G is exactly where he wants to be, and that's on the first spot of the grid, and he's going to be looking to make it clean, get away, and get away from any possible carnage behind him.
Yeah, Danny G, he has been having an absolute blinder of a season as well, doing really well this year, getting to grips with the car and really putting the pressure on the guys in the series. He's been having a great run with Mitch Motorsport and just getting better and better with each race. And we've seen it with some of his wins this year, which has been great to see, but consistency as well. JCW, of course, coming off the high of winning the last race at Phoenix, of course. He managed to open the year with a win and finish the year with the win in the Cup Series. Will he be able to finish it in the All-Star race? So he's got something to prove. Of course, Lachlan Oakio there, back in 4th place. He's had a bit of a race here before because he raced here tonight in the qualifying race. So he's got experience. So he could be somebody to watch out for as well, because I can tell you from my experience, I was driving in the qualifying races, a bit of a test drive really, not in the race itself, but these cars are very hard to handle around this track. The inside tyres barely get any heat, you don't put any work through them. The outside tyres, however, get a lot of heat into them, and you get a lot of wear as well. So expect to see people coming in from right side only, trying to sort of cut down the pit stop time, because it is such a short track here as well.
Yeah, so are we looking at 1 or 2 laps with the pace car tonight before they start, Carl?
It will be 2 laps on this track because it's such a short one. I'll probably say that, and the pace car will come in, of course, just to prove me wrong. But it should be 2 laps behind the pace car here tonight, and then we will be going green for the final race of the year here at the ANZCAR Abruzzi Cup.
Yeah, and any minute now they'll be coming around and getting ready to start the race. There we go, the pace car field's in. Danny G's got control of the field now. Let's see what he's going to do.
And the green flag's out. Danny G gets a bit of a slide there, which gives JCW the chance to jump ahead of him. He's got the high road, which tends to be the better line through these corners. He might get a bit of better power out, and JCW is going to take the lead here. You can see Gallagher just got stuck a little bit, and that's giving Oakio the chance as well. That high line is the line to take at the moment. Lachlan Oakio going a little bit high. He just got caught there and tapped Danny G as he comes down. He's managed to get up to 2nd place. Now he's going to try and put pressure on his teammate. They are side by side with himself and Danny G at the moment. But and there is a big crash behind as well. Big moment behind with Aaron Kelly and Jason Hartigan.
Let's have a look at it.
Big crash there between those two. A lot of damage on those cars. Let's go back and look at that, and just looks like somebody's gone into Aaron Kelly there, and that's what's caused that caution to come out there, because he's just got sideways in the corner, and then he just went a little bit too fast into the back of, I think, Edward Foster that was. Yeah, that was Edward Foster. He went into the back of Foster and got caught out there. Yeah,
so already early on in the piece, this track claims its first few victims, so caution period out. We've got JCW leading, and I reckon Lachlan right about now is feeling like it's Christmas time, sitting in 2nd place.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty happy about that, and he's hungry as well, of course. He is going to be wanting to finish the season out strong, try and get a victory under his belt, of course. And as I say, these drivers, there's a lot of race winners in this field. So, you know, he's going to want to try and get that win, try and get that chance there. But he's going to have a tough time getting past his teammate of Joshua Carroll Walden.
100%, and he's going to be on the probably the worst side of the field, starting the infield there, the low line. He's going to have, I think, Hamish Gallagher above him. No, actually, he's going to be on the high line, isn't he?
He will be on the low line. because you get the inside line for the starting. I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to think actually now. Yeah, it should be the inside line. So he's going to be at a slight disadvantage. So he's going to want to try and make sure he doesn't spin the tyres too quickly. He's going to want to time his start just right. And that's the tricky part here. The other thing you have to worry about with these cars on this track is the fact that you have cold inside tyres and warm outside tyres, and that can really throw you off because they have a they have a tendency to feel really quite bad for the grip factor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would hazard a guess that these two are teammates. They're going to be working together at the start here.
Yeah, they're going to try their best to get that all working out for them. Of course, fuel has been set to, it's been dropped by 35% tonight, so they have to make a couple of pit stops out there for fuel. So nobody's going to be able to go all the way on fuel. I think we'll be looking at, I think they were saying around about 2 or 3 pit stops at least tonight with that. But the pace car comes in, Pace car has come in, and JCW does get a good launch away there and has managed to get a good jump on his teammate Lockie. Got Hamish Gallagher now on the inside, and he's trying to make it stick. He's got a good position there, but is he going to have the traction on the corner exit? You can see Lockie there going in a bit higher, and he's keeping that high line. He's going to get better traction off the corner now, but those two are side by side at the moment. Lockie just touching the wall, but having that high line is good for the exit speed. The trouble is on the inside line, there's a couple of bumps that can really settle the car, and it can really cause you issue as you go in there. You can see Lockie really running that high line. He ran it a bit too high there, and that's cost him the position and given it to Hamish Gallagher.
And now Hamish Gallagher's on the chase now. He's really starting to hunt down JCW.
Try and get in front of him and get that work into his favour, of course. Now, you don't want to... You might not even want to lead it at the moment. If you can just keep clean and just keep there, it can work well. If it remains green for the rest of the race, it can change things quite a lot. And obviously strategy does become a large factor then in this race. But we will see how that goes. There's battles all down the field at the moment. Josh Micklemore making an absolute jump up to 4th place. He's having a great run up there at the moment and getting his way up the field, with Danny G just falling back a little bit with Stephen Williams behind him and just Jason Martin behind him in 7th. Jason Martin starting 7th and staying 7th for the moment. But those guys in motorsport are going to be hungry for it as well. They want to finish the year out strong and try and beat the JP Simshed boys for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ed Foster all the way down in 9th place. Look, I think you're not going to be too worried about this one. This one's going to be fun. He's won the championship. Closing it out well. Hopefully he doesn't have any more incidences, and he can march his way up through the field.
As he goes down the inside and takes his place from Norman Clark. You say with Edward Foster that he's probably going to take it easy and relax a little bit. Knowing Ed, I'll say that's not going to be the case. He's going to win this one. Championship will be a nice thing to have, but he just wants to get those wins there for sure. But they're now chasing down Stephen Williams, trying to get back to the back and start chasing him down. At the moment, the front 3 have broken out a bit from Josh Micklemore, who's about 2.7 seconds down at the moment. So he's going to want to try and catch up to those front guys as well. A lot of these drivers as well are a little bit unsettled on this short track because it's a kind of system you don't run much in the regular Cup season. Now that's going to change next year, of course. We're getting a little bit of a preview of next year's calendar almost running here at Nashville Fairground, because there's going to be a lot more short tracks on the calendar as well as a dirt track. So that's going to make things really, really different.
Yeah, that's going to really shake things up for these guys next year. And look at this, Hamish Gallagher, here we go, making a very decisive move.
He's got down the inside there, and he's making that inside line, which is the most important thing. Hamish Gallagher getting that inside line working for himself is doing well. The trouble now is you can start trying to push a little bit too hard, and then you start getting an overheating tyre on that right rear. Sometimes even the front, the right front as well, does get a little bit warm on this track. So you've got to be a bit careful. Of course, it is coming into evening now, so the track temperatures are going down at the moment. Track temperature is only 25 degrees, so that's going to help these guys out for the tyres. But the tyre life does jump off quite quickly as well, as just down towards the midsection. Jason Martin's making a move. He's just got past his teammate Danny G, giving Stephen Williams an opportunity to try and get up underneath Danny G at the moment. He's not managed to make the move work just yet, but he's going to sit there and try and get there. But you can see with the undulation of these cars just how bumpy the track is.
Yeah, 100%. This is some difficult driving for these guys. I mean, you wouldn't think so when they're doing a 20-odd second lap or 18-second lap, but it really is a tough call for them.
Yeah, I would say that the short tracks are probably a lot tougher than your sort of cookie cutter ovals, your sort of 1.5 mile ovals, or your super speedways, just because you need to work those braking points. It's almost like road racing in that aspect. You have to get your braking points just right. You have to get your acceleration just right. You need to have that throttle control as well. So it is a very different driving style, and some people adapt to it very quickly. Some are not too comfortable on it. Nashville Fairgrounds, of course, is one of those tracks that not a lot of people have raced on as well. We did race it, I think, in the Grand National Series, as well as one of the Wednesday night fun sessions. But it's not a track that these guys have had in normal rotation, so that's going to change things up a little bit. Down towards the back of the field, we've got a good battle going between Norman Clark and Matt Hunter. Matt Hunter's just managed to get past Norman. He's just been sitting back there a little bit quiet tonight, and not really pushing too hard. You can see as well, Jason Hartigan has worked his way up to 9th place with that with that exposed engine as well. You can see the Carby just sitting there. He is really working his way up despite the damage on the car. Damage isn't going to be too much of a issue tonight unless you really, really give the engine a big whack. But horsepower is not the overall factor at this kind of track.
Yeah, 100%. And this seems to be Jason's modus operandi. When he gets into trouble, he just puts his head down, his tail up, and just really starts to eat away those laps and make headroom.
Yeah, he's just going to try and eat that away and try and work his way up the field now. He's just catching up to his teammate of Edward Foster as well, and those two are those two have seen each other on the track quite a few times, especially in that Grand National Series. They had quite a close battle between each other on those races. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes there. Foster with a bit of damage on the back, Hartigan with quite a bit of damage on the front, removing that lovely livery, of course. You do these lovely liveries for these guys, and all they do is go and scratch it up and wreck it for you.
That's it. Next season, black cars.
Go Mirko Dorton at Rick and just get a black car. You can't go wrong with that one. Up the front, Hamish Gallagher's pulling a bit of a lead away. He's almost got 0.8 of a second ahead of JCW. Josh Micklemore is starting to catch up, though, on Lachlan Urquio and JCW, so he's starting to come into his own now. His car seems to be working a little bit better for him. He's probably just stayed off a little bit, and he's not been going as hard in these opening laps, probably just easing into it, not pushing the tyres quite as hard. People like Jason Martin definitely want to watch here because they can be so good on their tyres. Hamish Gallagher, of course, very good on his tyres. We've seen it numbers of times from him, just able to eke out extra tyre life, and that could be dangerous for the other guys. While Joshua Carroll-Walden's putting up a bit of a defensive effort against his teammate, Lachlan Urquio.
Yeah, and Lachlan's going to be really enjoying being in third place there, especially with this calibre field. But you can see Josh Micklemore is just chipping away ever so slightly at this lead. I'm wondering whether the guys at the front will burn their tyres out a little bit too early and allow the rest of the field to start catching up to them.
Yeah, we might start seeing that. The times are starting to suggest that a little bit. Hamish Gallagher's still the fastest car out there at the moment with a 19.5, although Jason Martin and it's lighting up across the screen at the moment. Jason Martin and just took that, and then Stephen Williams himself. But the guys in 4th and 5th place are setting a pace that's equal with the leader or just a little bit faster. Their fastest laps of the night is a bit off the leaders, so their sort of short runs pace is not there, but it looks like they've got a better long run pace than some of the guys out in front. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops, as we are only on lap 33, of course, well, lap 34 now. Trouble with these short tracks, you finish a sentence and a lap is over. But it looks like they're going for more of a long run pace than a short run pace, so that could pay off for them as this race goes on.
Yeah, absolutely, and and like you said, the lap's so short. Once you're saying it's a lap 34, all of a sudden it's lap 35, and before you know it, we're looking at the last few laps of the race. But yeah, you can see here quite easily, Hamish Gallagher has pulled away a little bit of a lead, and JCW and Lachlan Urquio are just sort of battling each other. Although I don't know whether you would call it battling each other. Maybe they're trying to work together to see if they can close the gap down. But all the while, Josh Micklemore is just getting a little bit closer every lap.
Yeah, you can see him just eking away the gap. And the trouble is on a short track like this, you can't really do much to work together. Of course, you can just sort of work together as in, I'm not going to pass you, just keep running your line. But the issue is, of course, you are going to be slowed down slightly by that car ahead of you. So Lachlan could possibly have a little bit more pace here over Joshua Walden. So he might be able to work his way through if JCW just starts falling off a little bit. But Hamish Gallagher's still putting in some good lap times, although he is starting to fall down a bit on people like Josh Micklemore. So, as I say, it's going to be interesting. This is going to start playing out quite well as it goes. If it remains green here, it's going to be very, very interesting to see who blinks first, who puts on those new tyres first. As JCW just got a little bit of a clip in the wall, I think. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who blinks first for tyres, of course, and also for fuel, because, as I say, these cars, I don't think they can do a full... I think they need to do at least 2 stops for fuel tonight because it's been reduced, but we'll see about that, so could be interesting.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting tonight. A lot of laps ahead. Oh, here we go, look.
Good move there. Stephen Williams getting down the inside of Danny G. Danny G's just getting a bit of wheel spin on the outside. Stephen Williams getting a bit of wheel spin on the inside there as he came into the corner. The back end was just stepping out on him. He tries to make it down the inside there, but you can just see how bumpy it is there. He just loses pace to Danny G. Just if you stay on that low line, it gets so bumpy, your car just does what wants to grip, and you just have to sort of wrestle to get it around. So it does make passing here quite tricky. As I said, the high line tends to be the favoured line if you can get it working. That low line can be a bit treacherous.
Yeah, and it looked like Danny G just went wide before there, and Steve Williams just capitalised that, but he just couldn't close it out. And he's having another look here, but he's just too far away to do anything about it.
Yeah, he's trying to take a slightly tighter apex and just try and get underneath Danny G, just try and force him into a little bit of a mistake, try and make him cover him off a little bit, which will cost him a little bit of speed on the exit. So he's trying to get that working for him, but he's not. Danny G's just not falling for it. He's seasoned enough to not fall for that kind of stuff. Just up the front, the leaders are starting to catch up to some of the cars that are going a lap down. Aaron Kelly is now a lap down. With that rather poorly beaten up car, sadly for him. So that's not going to help him out too much tonight, but he's still out there. This could be useful for Lachlan Urquio, though. This could help him out if Lachlan plays his cards right, he might be able to just get past his teammate with this lapped car. So we'll see how that happens. But it looks like Aaron Kelly's probably keep relatively out of it at the moment, but he's still trying to keep pace. Of course, he doesn't want to lose too much. Doesn't want to lose too much time on these guys because he wants to get that lucky dog if it comes out.
And that's all of that is actually. I thought Lachlan was just getting a little bit taily there coming out, but all of that has allowed Josh Micklemore to catch right up onto the back of Lachlan Urquio's car.
It has. You can see now that he is just right on the back, and he's starting to make some good pace there as they get past Aaron Kelly. And you can see Lockie drop down, and also Josh Micklemore, who is now within sort of striking distance. Aaron Kelly's still putting up a good fight there, and he's still really not wanting to go too far off the leader's pace. So he's still trying to push it, but with that damage, it can be quite hard. Yeah,
absolutely. And now he's got Josh Micklemore behind him. That might allow these two guys to open that gap again. No, Josh Micklemore, he just goes low and looks like he's going to make short work of Aaron Kelly here.
Yeah, he's managed to get the drive off the corner. Aaron Kelly's going to keep to the side of him for a little bit, but it's not going to last long. Meanwhile, Lachlan Urquio is trying to make a move on his teammate now. He was just coming up underneath JCW there, just trying to tempt him to take a bit more of a defensive line. Of course, the other thing as well, when you start turning your wheel a bit more aggressive, taking that sharper turn in and trying to defend that low line, you do start scrubbing your tyres a little bit more, and that can contribute to warmer tyres and less grip, of course.
Yeah, for sure. And he's just right there behind JCW, just letting him know, I'm here. You know, if you make a little mistake, I'm going to capitalise on it.
Yeah, he's not giving him an inch, and he is really applying the pressure hard at the moment. It's starting to settle off a little bit through the pack as they start to get a little bit branched out. There's still the battle between Foster and Hartigan going on. Meanwhile, Danny G's just managed to drop Stephen Williams a little bit. Jason Martin is sort of just in front of his teammate Danny G at the moment. Trying to keep up with Josh Micklemore at the moment. Oh, as Micklemore is coming into the pit lane, Josh Micklemore is the first to blink.
Hamish Gallagher's actually gone in as well.
So Hamish Gallagher was first to blink. Sorry, I was looking at that. So yeah, all of those drivers are coming in right now. So those guys must be pretty much getting, I'd say they're getting close on fuel because everybody's sort of coming in. Norman Clark, he's already pitted. So he's going to have some slightly fresher tyres. This could help him with a bit of an undercut right now. Of course, the undercut can be quite strong. Most of these guys, I think, will only just take 2 tyres, just because you're going to lose a lot of time with using all 4, or they might just be going for fuel as well. Some might not even change tyres. So we'll see how this goes. A few people might be just trying to play it a little bit different tonight.
Absolutely. And that pit stop actually allowed JCW to get out in front of Hamish Gallagher by actually a considerable margin. So maybe he didn't take 4 tyres.
Yeah, I don't think those guys actually did take any tyres. I'm just watching from the onboards. Those guys have not taken tyres. So I think it's more fuel. So who's taken more fuel in that respect? So I think it was more of a fuel thing than a tyre thing there. So this is what happens when you reduce the fuel tanks and change things up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that one.
Yeah, he's got a reasonable lead on Hamish Gallagher, but Hamish did well before, and you can see he's starting to close that lead down straight away. Danny G now is up into 3rd, with Jason Martin in 4th. But have they actually pitted yet? Yes, they have.
Yeah, so those guys have pitted. So again, faster stops for those guys. So those guys only did a 5-second stop, while people like Hamish Gallagher did a 10-second stop. Where am I? Joshua Carroll Walden only did a 5-second stop. Danny G did a 6.9. Jason Martin did a 7-second. Lachlan did a 6.7, but he did miss his marks, so he's dropped down a little bit. So it's interesting to see. It looks like people are just going for fuel at the moment and not worrying about tyres, and the extra bit of cool air tonight is obviously helping them out in that respect.
Yeah, as you can see, all the while Hamish Gallagher is just inching to the back of JCW's car.
Yeah, he's really, really coming, and he is trying his best to get up there and get that position for himself. You got the odd moment here of the fact that they're sort of quite spread out across the field because of those pit stops, with Danny G and JCW taking that very short stop. Where am I? Sorry, yeah. It sort of spread them out a little bit differently, but they are starting to really work together now, and you can see there... Sorry, my timing screen is messing up there. You can see that Hamish Gallagher is starting to catch up to him. He's starting to put the pressure on him.
Yep, he's all over the back of JCW's car, and you get the feeling that this is only a matter of time before Hamish Gallagher takes that inside line and makes a move.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when he does jump on him for that. So I'm just going back and having a look through some other stops and things like that. So it looks like everybody's just taking fuel tonight, unless there's a slight graphical glitch and I'm not seeing the actual tyres go onto the cars. But they are pushing very hard at the moment, so it's going to really change this one up. So they only managed about 50 laps on the fuel.
Yeah, that's going to throw everything wide open here. So it's a fuel strategy race as much as anything else tonight.
Yeah, who can fuel save the best, it's going to pay off for. And you see right now, Aaron Kelly is just blasting past these guys. He's got fresh tyres on that car, and you can see the difference that's making right now. He is absolutely flying. He's 5 laps down, but this could work out quite well for him if it a little bit later in the race, just because he's going to have so much more speed on these other guys. He's currently setting lap times of about 18.9, while the other guys are setting about 20-second lap time. So he's about 2 seconds faster at the moment. So it could be an interesting one come later on. He could possibly get a couple of positions when a couple of the other drivers do stop for tyres as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see here, JCW do everything he possibly can to hold Hamish Gallagher at bay. But while all of this is going on, Danny G, Martin Urquio and co, they're all starting to slowly catch up to them as well.
Yeah, they're starting to get up there because, of course, JCW now is having to defend. You see he's having to take that tighter line. He's having to push the car down. Of course, the other thing as well is...
Here we go.
And Hamish Gallagher getting on the inside now. Josh Carroll's going to get a slightly better drive, but Hamish Gallagher drops the pedal a bit too hard, and he got a bit of wheel spin there, and he lost that position. So it didn't work out for him there. He just dropped the pedal a bit too hard there, a bit too much acceleration, and that cost him time. Hamish Gallagher was also going to be slightly heavier as well because he stayed in the pit lane for a good 10 seconds, whereas the other guys around him got 5 seconds less fuel inside of them. So that might be interesting too.
So he knows that he's got the pace, but he's heavy with fuel, which means he's going to be taking on less fuel on his last stop than anyone else.
Yeah, it can also mean he can go longer into this stint as well. So if he stays out longer than the rest of these guys and gets a caution, it could absolutely win him this race.
We go down a little bit further down the field here, and we see Jason Hardigan now has made his way past Ed Foster. I'd say that would have been in the pits. And Ed's all on his own now, playing catch up.
Just jumping up to Josh Micklemore. Jumping up to Josh Micklemore and Lachlan Urquio. Josh Micklemore has got a good run on.
Oh no! Look at this!
Rocky goes sideways, catches Micklemore. They both managed to catch the cars. Great car control by both of those guys, managing to keep it there, and that has saved them the race. That could have been a caution just there. Lachlan getting a bit of a wheel spin through there.
And he's going to have to be careful the next few laps, cool his tyres down.
Yeah, that was very close there, but great car control. You can just see there, Josh Micklemore just absolutely saved that. Brilliant job from him. That could have been a very, very big accident. But that's given him the chance as well, and it's also given him the chance to get off there as well. He's going to be able to chase after his teammate Jason Martin as well, and Danny G, of course, who's leading the Mitch Motorsport cars now.
Hamish Gallagher around the outside of JCW, makes that move stick, easily done.
Yeah, he really made that one pay off, and all the time that they've lost, it has allowed Danny G to catch up. That outside line is the best way of overtaking here. It really does help you out because you tend to get slightly better traction. You don't have those bumps on the inside to worry about. You can get your foot down on the pedal a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. But that was a really nice move from Hamish Gallagher, and I imagine we're going to see him starting to run his way out now. The other guys behind him might be doing a bit of fuel saving as well, just trying to eke a little bit less fuel out of the car through this run as well. It'd be interesting to see how that works out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how that all pans out in the next lot of stops, I'd say. These guys are hopefully running as long as they possibly can and get themselves another caution.
Yeah, and we've seen how easy it can be to get a caution here. This track it doesn't look hard to drive, but it is. It's such a tough track to drive on. Such a tricky circuit, such a different track to drive on as well because of that. And it's a very different skill set that's needed.
Yeah, it's really all about maintaining momentum going through this track. Just the slightest little hiccup can be absolutely catastrophic for you.
Yeah, that's it. And these cars aren't going slow either. These guys are reaching up to 200 kilometers per hour down the straight here on this track. You can just see the acceleration of these cars. These things have just brute force in them. You know, you're going 200 kilometers per hour, and then you're dropping down to around about 150, 140, 120 kilometers per hour just on the apex of the corner. So it really does make a big difference there, and yeah, it can be very tricky to get it working for you. And it needs a lot of concentration in it as well, because you need to hit those braking points right every single lap. And you see now JCW is just dropping back a little bit towards Danny G, falling into the grasp of the Mitch Motorsport boys, who are setting times slightly faster than him at the moment.
Yeah, I think they've probably been working together, maybe saving their tyres a little bit, and now the race is coming back to them.
Yeah, and of course you have to remember that they do have they've got a little bit more fuel than JCW, but they still have less fuel than our leader of Hamish Gallagher. So unless Hamish Gallagher sort of made a bit of a mistake, which I don't think he did, I think he's going to be the one that's going to run a bit longer on fuel and see how this goes. I imagine we're going to see most people coming in probably about lap 90 to lap 100. But now probably about 85 to lap 90, I'd say, for those guys that took a little bit less fuel. We'll see how that works out. Keep an eye on that one. But you can see now Danny G is just going down the inside of JCW. He's going to make the move stick on the corner. But will he be able to make it on the straight, which JCW has the power advantage of, because he doesn't lose the traction going through the corner. He can keep the car going faster. So it's almost like you gain the position through the corner, but then you lose it on the straight. Makes it very frustrating as well. But JCW's just run up a bit high. He didn't get quite as good traction off that time. Danny G did, though, and he's going to be able to take this now, get down the inside of the corner, and this is going to cost Joshua Carroll-Walden the position. Jason Martin is now looking at that, and he's going to try and take advantage of JCW.
Yeah, 100%. I think JCW is starting to struggle, actually.
Looks like he's just losing a little bit of that rear grip, a little bit of the front grip as well. The car's just not turning as much as he wants it to. He's still keeping up some good pace with those guys, but it's just not working for him at this moment.
Yeah, it almost feels like he's fighting a losing battle. He's got the grip, he's got the right line, but his tyres are just not up to the task at the moment. No,
he's probably going to fall back quite quickly to Josh Micklemore as well, who's coming up there. Lachlan Urquhart has managed to get the car back settled again, so he's trying to get back to Josh Micklemore now, trying to work his way back up there. Fastest man on track at the moment is Lachlan, so he's putting in a good little run now as well, putting good use to what he learned in the earlier race as well. So racing in that in the qualifying race has given him a little bit more information, I'd say, for tonight. Might make it a little bit handier for him. Although that was in sort of midday sun, whereas it is now very much nighttime, and the track temperature is going to be very different to what it was this afternoon.
Absolutely.
And Hamish Gallagher has just pulled out a 2.3 second lead now, getting past a couple of cars a lap down. Absolutely blinding pace from Hamish Gallagher. He is really on it tonight.
Yep, and look at this. Josh Micklemore is all over the back of JCW now, monstering his car. JCW knows that he needs to stay out as long as he can, but he's really, his tyres are really past their prime now. Yeah,
his tyres are starting to fall off for sure. Really struggling out there. He just seems to be just struggling for that grip, and just you can see it on the turn, and the car's just not where he wants it to be sometimes. And then on the exit, he's having to be a bit more gentle on the accelerator as well. Just not putting his foot down quite as quick, because the car will quickly lose traction. And as I said before, the right side tends to suffer more than the left side, so you tend to get uneven tyre feeling as well, and that can just be a really funny thing to feel in the car, because it just doesn't feel balanced to you. It looks like Stephen Williams has pulled out of the race, unfortunately, so Stephen Williams will be in the final spot tonight. Looks like he has not been able to make it to the end of this race, unfortunately. But just looking down the field a bit, just want to mention Aaron Kelly. He's managed to get past Norman Clark now. As I said, he went and took those tyres a little bit earlier on, and he's now starting to battle with Norman Clark. So he's managed to get up a lap on Norman Clark as well. So he's still coming through the field. He's still working his way up there. And you can just see that those slightly fresher tyres have really helped him out despite that level of damage on him.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see he's monstering the back of Jason Hardigan there.
Yeah, the two that got caught together in that incident, both coming off with some severe damage, but I think Aaron Kelly got the worst of it. Jason Hardigan just losing his bonnet and a little bit of the front fender. That will be helping the engine temperature for sure, but not what he wanted to see. But he's still up on the lead lap, Jason Hardigan, so he's someone that you still have to look out for. So he could still be in contention, of course, if we get a late caution.
Absolutely, never discount Jason Hardigan. He's come back from far worse positions before to be challenging for the race win.
He has done. And just up there with JCW, he's now got Josh Micklemore on the inside. They are side by side as they go down the start-finish straight. Josh Micklemore has that inside line, and he's going to take advantage of that, trying to push JCW out there. Josh Micklemore just gets a big tank slapper there, and that's going to allow Lachlan Urquio to get past him. Lachlan goes up high, loses the car coming into the corner, goes up too high, makes the mistake, and that almost cost him, well, that has cost him the chance to battle Josh Micklemore for the moment. He got a good bit of traction coming down there. They're side by side as they come through the corner. You've got Micklemore on the outside, Urquio on the inside. They are battling hard for the moment, but that's given JCW a bit of a reprieve.
Yeah, a little bit of a free kick there for JCW, and now the table's turned on Josh Micklemore. He's got Lachlan Urquio to deal with.
Yeah, those two are back battling, but Joshua Carroll-Walden is just really struggling through the exit of the corner. He's just losing so much time. He can get the power down, but it just seems to be mid-corner pace is just not there for him. Really struggling with that one. So that car is looking to be a real handful at the moment. And you can just see how quickly Josh Micklemore's gone back to the back of that JP Simshed car. Mitch Motorsport car looking in a much better shape as it goes through. Those tyres are looking much more in control.
Absolutely. Oh, look at that little bit of a tail wag there coming through that corner. Yeah, they're doing a lot better on their tyres tonight. So I'm going to say JCW is looking to come in around about 108, 110, and looks like Lachlan Urquio is pressed the button. He's in the pits early.
Yep, he's come into the pit lane. He took a little bit less fuel than some of the others last time round. And JCW's pitting in as well, I just heard on the radio. So these guys are coming in now. So are they going to change tyres? What are they going to do with this? Are they just going to try fuel again? It'd be interesting to see what goes on here. Lachlan hitting his pit box a lot better there. He's got the right side up. He's getting the right side tyres done. Is he going to take left side? Yes, he is. He's getting all four tyres changed on that one. So I think this is going to be the big pit stop now of getting those fresh tyres on. And this could come back to haunt Hamish Gallagher if he stays out there quite a bit longer. Although he is pitting in now. Hamish Gallagher has pitted now, giving Jason Martin the lead. Edward Foster's staying out there as well for the moment. But I imagine these guys will come in quite quickly just because unless they get a caution, they're going to struggle. Danny G trying to make it into the pit lane now. Jason Martin staying out there, as well as Edward Foster. So those guys are just rolling the dice a little bit, staying out there. Of course, if you stay out there a bit longer, you can have better tyres towards the end of the race. Although the tyres do seem to plateau a little bit.
Yeah, and you know that both Jason Martin's pulled the trigger and he's in now. What does Foster do?
Foster is staying out by the looks of it. So I think Foster's staying out there for another run. And he's got his teammate Lachlan Urquio just blasting past him at the moment. So you can see those new tyres, they make a big difference to the car. Just checking on Jason Martin, and I think he's going for the full service as well there. So I think everybody's taking all sets of tyres as Edward Foster comes into pit lane now.
Now have a look at this, Carl. JCW is back in the pits, so what is this? Could this be a drive-through?
Possibly a penalty there. Yeah, possibly a penalty for JCW, I think, because he has not been long out, so that's going to really affect his race. He is just coasting to a stop in his box, so might be a stop-go penalty. Yep, look like a stop-go penalty, so that's really going to affect JCW's race. That's going to that is going to really, really hamper him tonight. Hamish Gallagher is back in the lead of this race. Second place is Lachlan Urquio. He came in that lap or two earlier, and that's given him that slight advantage. Those fresher tyres has given him a good leap over the other guys. So looking through the timing screen right now, it's Hamish Gallagher, Lachlan Urquio, Danny G, Jason Martin, Josh Micklemore, Jason Harskin, and Edward Foster.
Yeah.
With Matt Hunter and JCW in 9th place. Aaron Kelly is 10th. And I think we've also lost Norman Clark's in the pit lane now. So Norman's coming in as well as Aaron Kelly. So they're coming in for their sort of scheduled pit stops. But it's going to be a little bit higgledy-piggledy at the moment as guys start just getting the cars in the right position. You can see Foster, who is right on the back of the leader, Hamish Gallagher. He wants to get that lap back now. Go a lap back, and you can see those tyres being slightly fresher. He's got a lot more pace as it goes at the moment.
Yeah, and Lachlan doing the smart thing, not arguing with Ed, letting him go. And I think we might find that Hamish is going to do the same thing. He knows that Ed's on slightly fresher tyres. Let him go. He's made his lap back. And looks like we've had an incident here.
Caution has gone out. Trying to figure out who that was.
Aaron Kelly, I think.
Go back and try and figure that one out.
Yeah.
Aaron Kelly just lost it as he's come in. Back end has just gone out on him. It looks like such a clumsy little slide, but it's so easy to have in these cars. Back end has just rotated on him, unfortunately, and I think that's Aaron out of the race. Real shame there for Aaron Kelly. Good job for coming out tonight. As I say, dirt racer usually, as I said, taking that win on the dirt track in the Truck Series at Eldora. So that's going to be, good for him. Good for Foster as well, because he made his lap back just before that caution came out. So he's going to be on the lead lap, of course. I think Jason Hartigan has come into the pit lane, so he's coming in for a bit of a top up. He's got a new bonnet on the car. He's getting some repairs done right now. While he's got time, he's going to try and get out there in front of the safety car. So the pace car, sorry. He's going to try and get out there and get a little bit of damage done. He's also going to top up on fuel with that one as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that works for Jason Hartigan. And this is probably going to help Josh Carroll Walden as well, JCW. He's coming into the pit lane as well as Edward Foster. So those guys are coming into the pit lane just to do a bit of a top-up. Wondering if we'll see some other people trying that tactic as well. But this could be a little bit of a help for JCW because he might be able to sort of sneak a lap back with this one, or at least be in a slight better position come later in this race.
Yeah, they're just topping up. They've got nothing to lose. They're far enough down the order now to try something a little bit different and see if it pays off for them later on in the race.
Yeah, it can be so quick. As I said, a caution can change the race here, of course. If the leaders come in for a pit stop, we're going to have Foster and Hartigan being able to run a little bit longer on their fuel now because they've got fresh fuel in the car. So they're going to be able to run a little bit longer than those other guys, which could give them the advantage if a caution does come out.
100%. This is going to make things quite interesting because they've now ranged onto the back of Josh Micklemore. So they're now sitting in 6th, and what are we looking at here for JCW? 9th respectively, and Jason Hartigan is in 7th.
Yeah, so he's going to be starting next to Matt Hunter, who's on in 8th place at the moment. Foster's up there in 6th, right behind Josh Micklemore. Because he pitted that bit later as well, he has got a slightly fresher set of tyres. So that could be helping him out a little bit. As the pace car lights go out, we're going to see that pace car coming in once it comes round to the front straight again. Hamish Gallagher has got a critical start here. He's got Lachlan Urquio on the outside, and Lachlan could have the advantage here come the restart. Hamish has got to launch the car perfectly to get this working. If he gets wheel spin, he could be in some serious trouble. He's waiting for it. He's holding him back. He launches the car and gets a good drive away. Lachlan gets a bit of wheel spin, and that's going to affect him because Danny G is right underneath him for that one. Danny G is going to try and make him pay. They go side by side into the first corner. Danny G's got slightly better drive through the corner. Lachlan's still got the high line. He's managed to take back second place. He tries to make a bit of a lunge at Hamish Gallagher. Doing so has caused Danny G to come back at him. So that fight is starting to heat up. Meanwhile, Danny G has got his teammates right around him at the moment. They are all so close together at the moment. There is not a hair between them.
And as we usually see, Mitch Motorsport and then the JP Simshed cars are right in the thick of it with Danny G, Josh Mickelmore, Jason Martin, then with Ed Foster and Jason Hardigan.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we said, some super teams there. But the team that are leading at the moment is the 13 management team of Hamish Gallagher. So he's in the spot that everybody wants at the moment. All of those teams want that spot. You see Danny G just trying to take that inside line again. He tries to make the move work, but can't get the traction on the exit of the corner. Lachlan Okio's gone down quite low to defend this time around. This could affect him on the exit of the corner a little bit. Looks like he's managed to make the position stay because Danny G had to defend against his teammate of Josh Mickelmore there. They are all dicing around each other at the moment. And the guy that's moving up there quite nicely is Joshua Carroll Walden. He's starting to try and unlap himself at the moment. He is 2 laps down, remember, so he wants to try and get up there and get those laps back for himself. As Danny G makes a good move there. He gets a little bit of a swipe on Lachlan Urquio there and makes the move stick there. Gets a little bit of a rub, but makes that position count. Good pass by Danny G there.
Let's actually see if we can go to the replay and see that pass.
So we can see there Danny G's just got the outside line. He comes and does the up and over, I think we'll see here. And then just manages to push Lockie a bit wide. He just loses traction on the outside there. Danny G holds that position. They keep there so well neck and neck, and you can just see that little bit of a rub from the tail, and Danny G just makes that stick, and he's pulling out.
Yeah, nice
Josh
move.
Mickelmore just absolutely going sideways there as well for a moment. He really held that one. Great job by Josh Mickelmore holding that car. He lost a few positions from it, but he managed to save the car. It did not look like that was going to be saved for a couple of moments, and that's given Foster the chance to get past him.
Absolutely, the restart has really helped Foster now. Brought everyone back together, and he's able to get on with the job and start applying a little bit of pressure to Jason Martin.
Yeah, he's setting out some good lap times at the moment as well. Faster than the leader, in fact. Hamish Gallagher's around about a 19-second lap, while those guys behind are about an 18.8, 18.9. So they're a little bit faster. Oh, and there's a big crash! Massive crash down on the front straight. Huge incident there. And looks like it's looks like Jason Martin's just got underneath Lockie. Caught Lockie. Lockie's tried to get it going. He's snapped in oversteer, trying to save it. Gone around. Jason Martin's gone into him with that one. Big crash there. Big shame for Lachlan Urquio there. Big shame as well. Jason Martin just caught him there and just got Lockie around. Lockie almost saved it, but got a bit too much gas on the pedal. Went up in front of him, and a big incident there on the back straight. On the front straight, sorry.
Yeah, a little bit of an ordinary move there by Martin. I think just putting the nose of his car into the back of Lockie there, and that probably wasn't necessary. Yeah,
really unfortunate. And Edward Foster and Josh Mickelmore are both extremely lucky in that one as well. They really were very lucky because they had a hard charge, and Joshua Carroll Walden coming down on him, and he had to actually dart it into the wall slightly to avoid hitting his teammate. So JCW's now got some damage on the front of that car. Quite a few drivers out there with damage now, expecting to see a fair few people coming into the pit lane, getting some repairs done. This could work out well for JCW though, because he's going to get a lap back on this one, I think. So we could see JCW getting a lap back now and starting to climb his way up there. So we'll see if that starts to unfold. But yeah, bit of a clumsy move by Jason Martin there. He was trying to hold it down low, and the car just couldn't stick to that line and just went up a little bit on Lachlan. Lockie tried to get that save, but a big snap oversteer as he got the save done. And that's one of the things in these Cup cars is because they've got such a, they're such a heavy car, they tend to really, really wobble around, and you correct it, you think you've corrected it, and then all of a sudden the car just steps out on you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wondering what he's going to make of that. If Lockie slowed down or braked a little bit too early.
Yeah, that's something you have to count into though as well. It's a tactic on these tracks as well as braking that little bit earlier, like road courses as well. You know, you tend to brake a little bit earlier sometimes just to cause the guy behind you to have a little bit of grief. But when you're traveling around corners at 140 kilometers per hour, you do sometimes come into trouble with that one. So yeah, the unfortunate incident there. Good strong run from Lachlan Urquio tonight. He's going to be quite happy. He should be quite happy with what he's done tonight. But a shame to see him with that damage and a little bit down in the order.
Absolutely.
But up the front, this is a nice reprieve for Hamish Gallagher, who's coming around for lap 130 now. And he's going to be pretty happy about this one. Obviously, he's got some good fuel on board. They're going to have to stop one more time, of course. Maybe they might be able to get one more stop out of this now. So we'll see how that one goes. But this is just going to help him just to cool those tyres off, get back into the action, feel a little bit more comfortable. But he's got a hard charge and Danny G on the outside. As I said, look out for Danny G tonight. He's one of those guys that has been really quite good on these short tracks, and he tends to do well in towards the mid to end of the race. He tends to have that long run pace and work his way up there. So having that outside line could be the advantage for him. But will Hamish Gallagher be able to get the drop away on the accelerator this time round? We'll soon find out. As the pace car comes in, Hamish Gallagher gets a good drive away, steps out a little bit, which is giving Danny G a slight advantage coming into the corner. He's going to get better drive out the corner. Hamish Gallagher's going to have a slightly better title line, but this could give Danny G a slight better drive out the corner. Hamish Gallagher has managed to recover that, though. Managed to get that recovered. Good job from Hamish Gallagher there, keeping the lead as Foster now just getting into the back of Jason Martin, as there is another incident towards the back.
And we've had Lachlan Urquio
and Matt Hunter as well involved in that one. I'm just going back to see if I can find out with that one what happened. I think Lachlan's he's just not had the power coming off the corner that he expected, or made a mistake somewhere, because yeah, he's really lost a lot. He's gone into the back of his teammate there, I think, and that cost him a bit of time, and that's pretty much taken an end to his night, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a real shame, but that's motor racing for you.
And it remained green. That is the most important thing. It has remained green, and this has given Hamish Gallagher a nice bit of breathing room from, pretty much from a couple of the guys. Matt Hunter was the person that got really caught out by that one. He got caught down, and he could have used that caution to come out when it did. But it didn't happen for him, unfortunately. Jason Hardigan is trying to put some pressure on, trying to get his way back up there. He's trying to hunt down his teammate, Edward Foster, who is behind the Mitch Motorsport guys of Jason Martin, Josh Micklemore, and Danny G.
Yeah, absolutely. He's trying to hunt down Jason Martin, trying to do something there, but just not quite able to get close enough.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have what he needs at the moment. But Edwards Foster has got more fuel in that car than anyone around him at the moment. So himself and Jason Hardigan and Matt Hunter have all got almost 25 laps more worth of fuel more than the rest of the guys. And that could be the difference between one stop and two stops right now. So it could be good for Foster towards the end of the race right now. It could be sitting pretty for him at the moment, as the rest of the guys might have to make 2 more stops, whereas they will only need to make 1.
Yeah, that's a really good point there, Carl. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen on the next lot of pit stops.
And as you said before, this could be a race of fuel strategy, and it is looking like it might turn out to be just that. Of course, a caution could absolutely ruin that opportunity. So Foster is wanting it to stay green, green, green for the rest of this race now.
Yeah, he's certainly not going to want a caution to come out. That's going to put paid to his plans pretty quickly.
It is, and Joshua Carroll-Walden 2 laps down, unfortunately. So he's not looking in the best place at the moment. Of course, he's going to struggle a little bit with that one. But with the drivers coming in, they might have to, if they need to take tyres, if the leading cars have to take tyres or have to take a longer stop, if they do have to stop 2 more times, he could get his laps back and work his way up the order. So it's not over and out yet for JCW. So he could come back to pay. This could pay off for him later on in the race as well, because he's on that alternate strategy too. Right now, Hamish Gallagher is pulling away. He's doing some good lap times out there, trying his best. Danny G is keeping to him though and putting the pressure on him. They are both trying to get as well, trying to be the fastest car out there and trying to pull a gap away from those guys. That's what they need to do. They need to pull a gap away from people like Foster, Hartigan, Matt Hunter, because otherwise they could be in a bad spot if this remains green.
Yeah, and all the while Foster's back there trying to find a way around Martin, but it's just not working for him.
Yes, as we're on lap 144, so these guys have done 41 laps at the moment. So they're going to start to... their fuel could be working in their favour, though, because of those caution laps. Those guys didn't stop in the caution, of course. They might have been able to save a lot of fuel under caution and be able to make it to the end here. If they can get to, I think, around about the lap 150, lap 155 mark, I think they can make it without any more stops.
Here we go. Sorry, Carl. Foster making the move on Martin. Job done. Now he's starting to look at reeling in Micklemore.
Yeah, he's trying to get his way up there. It's not yet done on Martin as he gets a lot of power slide through the exit of that corner, and Martin's coming back at him despite that damage on the front. Jason Martin is still there behind him and he's still putting pressure on Foster. So Foster's not yet got the move done. It's not yet safe for him. So he's really got to start putting the pressure on. And I think Foster knows that these guys pitting for fuel, if he can put the pressure on them, that they have to pit a little bit earlier, and if they have to if they can't make it make one more stop, it could really affect the end of this race and make it in his favour. So that's what he's got to do. He's got to try and pressure these guys into using more fuel than they have to. So again, it's just all down to those fuel numbers now, and that's going to be the interesting thing.
Yeah, 100%, and you can see now Foster starting to eke away from Martin and close into the back of Josh Micklemore. And that's probably exactly what you just said. He's got to try and make them push a little bit harder, use a bit more fuel, and hopefully stop that little bit earlier.
And if you just look behind Jason Martin, we have Jason Hartigan closing in as well. So he's starting to make some good pace up now with that car a bit more repaired. It's now got a bonnet on it, so it's looking a lot better with its paint job. But he's now starting to put some pressure on. He's going to want to try and catch up to Jason Martin and get that move made, as I think Danny G's coming into the pit lane. So Danny G is the first to stop on lap 150.
Danny G's blinked, so what does Josh Micklemore and Jason Martin do? Do they come in the next lap? And more importantly, when does Hamish Gallagher pull the trigger and come in?
We'll have to see on that one, because right now Danny G, it doesn't look like he made 48 laps on that last stint, so he is just that little bit shy if he absolutely used up his fuel there. Whereas these guys are making a couple of extra laps on their fuel. They might be able to make it to the end. They've done a 50-lap stint at the moment, so looks like it's only going to be one more stop for Hamish Gallagher and the rest of the crew now, depending on, of course, a few of those laps were under caution, so that could make a difference as well. Of course, Foster will have to take less fuel to get him to the end of the race.
Here we go.
Hamish Gallagher's come in. Hamish Gallagher is pitting right now.
And look at this. Foster is now starting to apply the pressure to Josh Micklemore.
Yeah, he's starting to turn the screws. Micklemore's going up high. He's trying to get that good exit off. Foster's got that low line. Micklemore's going to probably be pitting shortly as well. So expect to see Josh Micklemore trying to get into the pit lane. But with Foster down there on the bottom, it could be an annoying little nap almost that he won't be able to get sort of a good position in. I imagine we'll hear over the radio with a call from Josh Micklemore just saying he's going to be pitting in when he does, just so he can get that low line working for him. He's got a good bit of gap at the moment, and he's just trying to go those extra
Martin's
laps.
in.
Keep that fuel. Jason Martin has pitted as well, so they're coming in. So Josh Micklemore's going to come in now. He's just called out over the radio. So Josh Micklemore's going to pit in this time round. You're going to see Foster blast past him and take the lead. So it's going to be Foster, Jason Hartigan, and Matt Hunter.
Now, what do they do now? Do they pit, top up, and get out, or do they just try to make hay while the sun shines?
They're going to want to try and keep out there for as long as possible, just in case that caution comes out. Because if that caution comes out now, it can play into their favour. Because you're going to see people dropping a lap on this when they get their fuel. So that's the big thing. Now Foster has a lap over Danny G, over Hamish Gallagher. So he's got a lap in front of him now. Danny G is trying to catch up to Foster. But if Foster can hold that car there and keep Danny G behind him, of course Danny G is now topped up on fuel, it could be good for Foster.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting race once again.
Yeah, it can all change right here. If Danny G is going to go down the inside, get through, and Danny G passes with quite a bit of ease there. Just jumping back a little bit, just to see if these guys are taking tyres. Because I think these guys are taking tyres on the outside. I'm just going back to have a look at that one, I'll let you know. Yes, Danny G is on fresh tyres. So Foster now needs a caution, really, to help it pay off. Because those guys are going to start catching up. So all of those guys that pitted did take some fresh tyres. So now it's sort of falling into the favour of those guys if it remains green. So Foster now needs a caution to come out to keep this race alive for himself.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see Hamish Gallagher just eating up the road between himself and Foster now.
But the guy that really paid off for is Danny G. Danny G got a really good jump over Hamish Gallagher that time round. So Danny G has taken the effective lead of the race. So that could be very useful for him as he gets past Matt Hunter. So Danny G is working his way up. He's back into third position now, and he's starting to close in on those guys up the front. He's still a bit down, of course, because it's not a long lap, but it is still quite a vast area you have to cover. But he is working his way up there now. It's worked out very well for Danny G, but of course that's because he did stop earlier. So he's got that advantage of those slightly fresher tyres. He got the undercut working for him there.
And now you see Josh Micklemore and Jason Martin just ranging around the outside of Jason Hartigan, making that easy move.
Yes, it's almost an easy move with that, because you can't do much with those tyres. Of course, their tyres are going to start to plateau, and it could come back to these guys towards the end of the race now, because they'll have fresher tyres when they come back out onto the track. Of course, they won't have to take as much fuel either. So again, it's still not over by a long shot. We could still see some things changing here. And of course, Danny G has got to try and keep that position over Hamish Gallagher. So you can see Foster just getting passed there by the Mitch Motorsport boys. He's going to have Jason Martin going down the inside of him now. And not making much of an argument with this one. He's not putting up too much of a fight, because there's no point in doing that. You're just going to cost yourself more and more time with that as you go round. So they're just going to try and go around, try and eke out the fuel for as long as possible. And if that caution comes out, they will take advantage of it.
Yeah, you can see Danny G's just setting... Last lap there was a 19.5, but I'd say he probably got held up a little bit there. Hamish Gallagher did an 18.9 on the last lap. Ed Foster did a 19.9 on the last lap.
Yeah, you can really see them struggling a bit. Josh Micklemore 18.7 that last lap as well. So Josh Micklemore's got some pace back in the car as well. Getting a couple of the bumps knocked out of it, getting the car a little bit straighter, things like that makes a big difference. But you can see now Hamish Gallagher is starting to catch up to Danny G and really reel him in now as Danny G's tyres start to drop off a little bit as they go around. So he's going to start losing a little bit of pace. But as I said, the tyres start to plateau here. So they will start sort of getting into a section where they don't quite get the same pace as they were. But I do expect to see Hamish Gallagher getting past Danny G in a few moments, just because he's had such good pace tonight.
Yeah, he's had phenomenal pace tonight, and like you said, he's just reeling in Danny G now.
Yeah, it's almost like Danny G is just looking in his mirror. He's going to make it as hard as possible for Gallagher, but that's those fresh tyres do make a bit of difference as well. Gives you that little bit of extra sticky grip there. As you can see now, Gallagher just getting down on that inside line. He can take that tighter line with a bit more ease than Danny G. And, when you're 0.3 of a second faster, it's almost like it's too easy. And just going to see him now just flying up underneath Danny G. He's going to try and get that traction off the corner. Doesn't quite make it this time round, but I expect to see that happen very shortly.
Yeah, he's making light work of it, and there he goes, making a move. Trying down that low line.
And you're going to see Danny G just get the speed off this time round, but he's going to make the move next lap round. If he can stay side by side with Danny G, Gallagher's going to get that position, or at least this lap or the next lap. You can see Danny G having to run that higher line, and when you run that real high line, you do start swabbing a little bit. You have some issues as Jason Hardigan's come into pit lane. So Jason Hardigan has come into the pit lane right now. That leaves Foster out there on his own. So we'll see how that one goes. Matt Hunter's also pitting. So Foster's just leaving out there as long as he can, just praying for that caution to come out. But of course, they're going to come out on those nice, fresh tyres. So that could be a big help for them as well. I'm pretty sure Jason Hardigan has actually taken all 4 tyres. So I think Jason Hardigan's got a full set of fresh tyres on as well.
And have a look at this battle. Here we go. Looks like Hamish Gallagher might have had had it done. Yep, he's got that move done.
Yeah, that traction just really paid off for him. He's got that move done, cut underneath him and taken that position. And Danny G just can't really do anything to hold on to the back of Hamish Gallagher, who has been absolutely on fire tonight. He has been driving incredibly well. He's only 6 seconds behind Edward Foster despite the pit stop, losing a lap, of course, getting those fresh tyres as Foster comes into pit lane. So will Foster take all 4 tyres? Of course, he's going to take less fuel than those guys too, so he can possibly make this work by taking less fuel and taking all 4 tyres. This could give him an advantage towards the end of this race, as we're on lap 178 now, so he's going to have 20 laps to do this.
Let's stick with Foster and see what he does.
So he's up with the right side. Those right tyres are getting changed. Does he go for all? No, he just gets the right side tyres done. So that's going to mean his pit stop's going to be a bit shorter. So his pit stop was a bit shorter then. We're going to see which strategy pays off, though, because Jason Hartigan took all 4 tyres, as I said. Foster just took the 2 sets of tyres. So we'll see really how that one works out as it goes through. Jason Hardigan's stop, though, was 15 seconds, whilst Foster's was 8.8 seconds. So is it worth taking those extra tyres? We'll find out.
This is where the exciting part of the race comes. And traditionally what we've seen towards the tail end of the race is an incident that brings out a caution. So will that happen tonight?
Hard to say, really. It makes it tricky, but you can see with Foster, if we jump on board at him now, he's just got past Danny G, made that look easy, flying past him, and he's now catching up to Hamish Gallagher as well, and you're going to see him just breeze past Gallagher. Foster setting a 18.6 that time round. Jason Hartigan an 18.2. So those 4 tyres make him much faster, but he did lose more time in the pit lane. So Jason Hartigan, of course, driving with quite a beaten up car. Now, we could see the caution come out just because some of these guys are going to be racing for position on different strategies, and that could bring a caution into play tonight, just because there's going to be quite a few cars on different tyre strategies now. Some guys are going to be much faster that you would expect to be a little bit slower, and some guys that should be faster will be a bit slower. As Hamish Gallagher gets a big tank slapper going through the middle of the final corner there. He's managed to hold it, but this has helped Danny G just claim back a little bit of time on him. Foster is now on the lead lap, most importantly.
Now have have a look at this, Carl, with Norm Clark, Matt Hunter, Danny G, and Jason Hardigan here.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. These guys on different strategies right now. Norman Clark has stopped recently. Joshua Carroll stopped recently. Matt Hunter has stopped recently. Those guys are all got nice fresh tyres on them. They're going to be much faster than the leaders. So you've got lapped cars unlapping themselves. You've got cars all over the place at the moment. And you can just see that stack of cars behind Hamish Gallagher at the moment. They're going to want to try and get past him as quickly as possible. And Hamish Gallagher is going to want to let them past as quickly as possible. Because the quicker they get past, the easier it's going to be for Hamish Gallagher just to concentrate on his line and try and make it work. You can see now Jason Hardigan has just made that move as well. So he's back on the lead lap now. Jason Hardigan back on that lead lap on all 4 of those fresh tyres. So he's going to want to try and catch down to Edward Foster. So it's a big battle between those two. But that sort of 5 seconds in the pit lane extra for those tyres has affected Hartigan a little bit because he did lose a lot of time in that stop. Will he be able to make it back on those tyres with that damaged car?
And that's going to be the telling tale. Will he be able to get to Foster in time? And we're seeing Foster here. Next victim for him is going to be Jason Martin, but he's a fair way up the road, I think.
He is. At the moment, Foster is about a second a lap faster as we've got 10 laps to go. Foster is 11 seconds off the lead at the moment. So if it keeps up at a second a lap, we're going to have a real nail-biting finish to this race. As you can see, just behind, Danny G is getting passed by his teammate. Josh Micklemore has now taken second place from his teammate. Great move there by Josh Micklemore, making the car work for him. He's on those slightly fresher tyres to Danny G as well. Danny G on the oldest set of tyres now. He's some 5 to 6 laps older than the cars around him, so he's going to start struggling. You can see people like Jason Martin slowly catching up to Danny G as well. But Jason Martin's probably going to be the one to keep an eye on next because he's going to have Edward Foster chasing him down very shortly. Foster is catching him at a vast rate of knots at the moment. Foster setting fastest lap after fastest lap, at least as they stand. So his last lap was a 19.0, while Hamish Gallagher was a 19.7. He doesn't want to see that. He needs Hamish Gallagher to be a bit slower to catch him for the end of this race.
Yeah, and you can see now in the shot, you can see Jason Martin coming in the shot and Ed Foster coming in as well there. He's absolutely reeling him in. Yeah,
those fresher tyres are really making it work for him. Obviously, the undercut hurts you when you're out there because you feel you lose so many positions, but when you come out on those fresh tyres, you start gaining back those positions. Of course, Foster did have the lead of the race for a while, but I don't think he was able to really contest for the win tonight. But he was able to contest for the sort of top 3 positions. That's what he's looking at now. If he can get on the podium, I think he's going to be pretty happy with the outcome of this race. Steve Foster now coming onto the back of Jason Martin. He's going to be able to take a much tighter line, get the exit. You can see he can get the power down a lot quicker. So he's going to have such better traction through the corners. He should be able to make this pretty easy on Jason Martin. As they go down the front straight, Martin's on the outside, Foster's on the inside. He's going to brake a bit later, go down the inside, make that move pay, get that done. Foster's taken Martin, gotten into the place. Now Jason Martin's going to try and fight back, but it's going to be a losing battle for him. You can see he's already losing time.
Yeah, Foster made that look easier. Now he's just on his way down the track trying to hunt down Danny G. 4 laps to go. Will he be able to get up to Danny G? Looks like he's about 2.5 seconds, 2 seconds now behind off of Danny G.
It's going to be close. It is going to be very, very close between those two. If he can get the podium tonight, I think he'll be pretty happy with that. But the guy at the front leading, Hamish Gallagher, is doing a great job as he comes around for lap 199 this time around. So looking good for the 13 management team. Hamish Gallagher, again, just proving he is really coming into his own this season. He is really, really having a great season, and I think he's going to be a big, big one to watch out for next year. So as we come around for the Hybrid Racing Solutions white flag lap, Hamish Gallagher is in the lead. Danny G has got Foster right behind him, but we'll stick with Gallagher for the moment. just to see him across the line. And I'll let you know how Foster and Danny G go. But Hamish Gallagher is going to take it, and Foster has got past Danny G. Foster's made the move on Danny G. Danny G just losing a bit of traction there. And Foster managed to get that third place.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic race by Foster there. But you cannot take anything away from Danny G. That was a brilliant race by Danny G. Well-deserved win. Yeah, he dominated the entire race.
I think you mean Hamish Gallagher there.
sorry, Hamish Gallagher. I just did a Carlism, I think.
You did. You see, it's infectious, unfortunately. Yeah, Hamish Gallagher he had the pace all night, really. And I think this is a strong close to such a strong season for Hamish Gallagher. Really, really, again, just absolutely nailing it tonight. He's had a great cup season as well, of course, and making it into the chase, I think, for the first time this year as well with that one. Hamish Gallagher, of course, taking out his first win in the Cup Series as well this year. Ended up with 2 wins in the Cup season and topped it off perfectly with a win in the All-Star race itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Hamish Gallagher is definitely going to be one to look out for next year. I'd almost put my money on him now that he's going to be odds-on favourite for the title.
Yeah, I think that is a relatively good bet to have on for next season. He is definitely one to watch out for. He is really proven this year. He is one to look out for, and definitely one of those drivers that has really put in putting a hand up to say, look, I am coming for you for next season. And we've had a few drivers like that. And there have been some really breakout stars this year, and we have had such a great rookie field as well. Brad Allison, for instance, him getting into the chase on his rookie season was something special. Matt Hunter as well, his rookie season in Cups. You can also say that for Jason Hartigan, although he did have a couple of races at the end of last year, of course. But brilliant years for those guys. And Hamish Gallagher as well has really stepped up to it. Joshua Carroll-Walden as well this year. Another person that has gone, look, I'm here, guys. I am ready for next season. So I think next season for the championship is going to be a lot trickier for people like Foster and Jason Martin to really go through there. You've also got Josh Mickelmore, Danny G, and they've been working so well. That Mitch Motorsport team just keeps getting stronger and stronger. Michael Skurlock, he's going to come back stronger next season as well. So it should be an interesting one.
I think you're right there, Carl. It's going to be a very interesting season. Looking forward to next year and to calling all the action again and seeing what happens.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be a good one. Of course, we'll be back next year for the 2021 Cup. I have to remember it's actually 2021 next year. So that's going to be a different one as well. Of course, they're going to be using a lot more short tracks. There's going to be a dirt track involved as well. That's going to be an interesting one to watch.
Absolutely, that's going to really throw some interesting racing up. While we're here, we may as well talk about some of the socials that we've been having tonight. Rightly, Curtis, A1 will be giving it a crack next year. Great to see A1 Sim Sport coming back. Bradley Allison, great call, Carl and JP, very enjoyable to listen to and watch. Thanks very much, Brad. Thanks to everybody that's joined us tonight and that's joined us throughout the season to watch the racing and to support this great category of racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been growing each year, of course. It's gotten a lot better as well for the visuals as well. I'm sure everybody will remember back in the old days when we were pretty much running the channel that was the channel that was showing it, and it was a much harder job we had. And really got to thank you, JP, as well, for giving us some great visuals, as well as TrackCam for Gourmet, giving us those beautiful camera angles as well out there. But the broadcast has really come up great, and I really hope people have been enjoying that as well, because we really, really are thankful to have you viewing. And yeah, we wouldn't be able to do this without you guys watching. So big thank you to all of our viewers for this year, and we hope to see you back next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more there, Carl.
So, JP, of course, we're going to get a bit of a break now, of course, until the end of, well, till a start of end of a season. You can tell where my brain's gone. It's been a long one this year. Until next season, of course. I think it's going to be slightly longer next season as well. There's been a fair few races this year, but I think there's going to be a couple of extra next year as well. So just keeps on going, really. So we're back towards the start of the year for that one. Of course, what's coming up on the SimShed network?
Well, we've actually got quite a bit going on. We've got the last 3 rounds of the Nationwide Tracking Systems V8 Evolution Championships. So next week we're going to be at Road America, and then after that, if I remember correctly, we're going to be at Sebring for the Sebring Super Sprint, and for our very last race of the season for the Nationwide Tracking Systems, we will be doing a 1,000 kilometre, 161 lap race at Bathurst with featuring some pretty amazing retro liveries with the cars. On top of that, we're on SimShed Broadcasting 2. Matter of fact, we're that busy now, Carl. We've actually got 2 SimShed Broadcasting stations, SimShed Broadcasting and SimShed Broadcasting 2. On SimShed Broadcasting 2 on Monday nights, we've got the Club Day Masters. We've got the MX5 racing going into TCR shortly, and on SimShed Broadcasting we've got the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club with Intro to Wings and the GT3 series on the Monday night. On Wednesdays we always have the replay of Split 2 in the Nationwide Tracking Systems V8 Evolution Championship. So we have the NTS V8 Drivers Lounge on a Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Of course, Thursday now we're going to have an open schedule. I'm actually going to be able to get onto the sim and do some racing on a Thursday now. But on Friday we're back again with the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club with the Friday night triple treat with their production car series, their stock car road racing series, and of course their Stone Cold Racing V8 series.
So lots to look forward to over the next few weeks on the broadcast for all of your sim racing needs, and be good to have you back in the driving seat as well, I imagine.
I'm looking forward to it. I've been 6 months out of the sim for various health reasons, but just had all of my new equipment arrive on Tuesday. And big shout out to Brett from Hybrid Racing Simulations. He looked after me with all of my new equipment. New SimuCube 2 Pro steering wheel, shifter, brake pedals. The burger with the works, so to speak. So I'm really looking forward to dialing all of that in and getting on track and making a menace of myself.
It's going to be fun. And what I might do is just actually quickly grab down the ANZCAR, the ANZCAR committee of Danny G, Matt Hunter, and Edward Foster. Just have a quick word to them for the next coming season. So we'll quickly grab those guys down to the booth.
Actually, I stepped up and I was just walking away when you said that. I better grab them down to the booth very quickly. So, and Matt Hunter, there we go.
Wonderful. And so we've got the ANZCAR, well, the guys that run all the ANZCAR League stuff, Matt Hunter, Ed Foster, Danny G. How are you guys going tonight?
Yeah, which one of us are you talking to?
Well, all 3 of you, really.
3 of us are here.
Well, I'm going all right.
Good. So, obviously, going to be a big season next year for the ANZCAR Cup.
Yeah, I mean, looking at running fairly close to the real life calendar again, provided that we get all the tracks in time. Little bit of a different sort of layout as far as what real life's going with. So yeah, there's a lot of road courses and a couple of other little odd bits and pieces. So yeah, we're going to look at emulating that as close as possible, and yeah, it should be a good season.
And what else we could be sort of looking at next year? Of course, are we going to have trucks back and things like Xfinity again, or just mainly Cup action and trucks?
It's your department, Danny. You go. Okay, no, Danny. All right.
I'll jump in here then. We'll look at my part probably doing a bit of an ARCA series, perhaps with the old Gen 6 cars, and maybe toning down the horsepower a little bit, try and get it closer to the real life ARCA stuff. That all can in, and maybe a bit of Xfinity as well during the year.
Awesome. So it's going to be a big year next year. Obviously, it's been going strength to strength, and really the cup this season has been fantastic. So you guys must be looking forward to next year and pretty happy with how everything's worked out this season.
Yep, it's definitely been a long testing season. So yeah, it's good to come to the end of it, have a bit of a break, and get reset and go again.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next year for the back for the cup next season.
Back for all 3 series. Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. All right. So with that, we will come to a close. So you guys can get some sleep, so we're not talking forever. So thank you so much for joining us throughout the year. We appreciate everybody that's jumped on board, jumped over for watching these races. It's been a great series. We've had some great running, and a big thank you as well to JP for all the work behind the scenes and getting everything up and running for the for showing everything, really. Big thank you to JP.
Very welcome there, Carl. Happy to be able to support this great series.
Awesome. And with that, we will say good night to everybody, and we'll see you all next year. Thank you so much, and good night.